Alright guys, and welcome back for a new review. Just gonna do a quick look back at the Commando from Hot Toys John Matrix 1/6 scale collectible figure. I'm a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, so this was my most wanted figure from them. Taking a look at the packaging. Nice art of the figure. Just some credits on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and crack it open and give you guys a better look at Commando. Stay tuned. Pretty cool little insert piece here. Somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna pay. This movie was the epitome of 80s cheese, but it was my introduction to Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kid. So let's take a closer look. Okay, so here's the figure out of package. Really cool depiction of Arnold Schwarzenegger as John Matrix. Let's give you a close-up look. Really nice detail on the boots with the grime. Nice sculpting into the baggy combat trousers. On his side there, he's got the Desert Eagle in the holster. Really cool. That looks really sharp. Moving up from there, you go into the belt buckle. Nice detail on that. And then they did a specially developed muscular body to depict Arnold Schwarzenegger from this movie, and it looks really good. Got the war paint on it. And it's pretty much a rubber or PVC vinyl type material over the body, so it's pretty rigid, but you can feel it's got a little squidge to it. Same thing on the arms. They did do a break here in the sculpt, which is good, so you can get really good articulation out of the shoulders, but this is not one of those figures that you're going to want to overly pose. It's kind of like a museum piece, so it's not going to be much in terms of going over the articulation with this guy. And let's take a closer look at that head sculpt. For me, I think it's a really good head sculpt. There's been a lot of complaints when this initially released a year back. But I think they actually came very close to a very accurate sculpt form. I think it definitely looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger at about the age of 29 to 32. He was right in that ballpark when he did this movie in 1985. The hair sculpt looks pretty awesome. Nicely detailed. The paintwork. Little cut on his forehead. Eye look really realistic. Kind of bring it in to show you a little bit more of that detail. But really nicely done. People who do not see Arnold Schwarzenegger in this sculpt, I think, are not looking at it. But everyone's got their own opinion on that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories. Okay, so I'll just do a brief demonstration of the articulation for this figure. So the head is on a ball joint, so it allows it to look left and right, no problem. Of course, you want to take it easy with this particular figure. There is always a chance for paint rub, so I'm not going to be pushing the articulation to its limits on this test. But it can look forward, and it can pose back some. Shoulders are on a hinge that hinges out to about this far. There's also a butterfly joint inside, so it can pivot back and forth and up and down. The elbow is on a ratchet, so you can ratchet it a couple of points, a few points forward, and you can also articulate it left and right. You get a ball jointed wrist peg, which hinges down and up and also rotates. There's no articulation through the torso, but for the legs, they can go forward, back, out, double jointed knees, and you got a ball joint at the base of the foot, so it can rotate side to side and pivot up and down a little bit. There's also upper thigh articulation too. You see how you kind of pose that up and down as you see fit, but definitely don't want to force articulation or get paint rub. Okay, so taking a quick look at the accessories, you get these 2 bags for the claymores. Nice detail on them. U.S. Army. Of course, the centerpiece is the vest. We'll get to that. Here we have one of the assault rifles. This is one piece that people were going nuts trying to find when they were looking to customize the piece before they made this. All the traditional details, clips remove, a lot of moving parts. You know, it's a little fragile, so you don't want to use a heavy hand with that, but handles move. I believe the slide also works. Yeah, so really nice details, excellent weathering, excellent sculpting and detail. Also get the 12 gauge shotgun. Nice paint apps on that as well. Also pump action works. Comes with the sling. Really nice. Moving on from there, we get the Uzi 9mm. Really nice detail on that. The butt does extend on that as well, so you can fold that out. Just beautiful detail from Hot Toys. You know, this is their standard when it comes to accessories. Also, the magazine is removable. That one's in there a little stiff. Bullet details there. So really nice. Then the 50 caliber Desert Eagle. Excellent chromed out paint job on this. Really sharp. Does work as well. Slide, you can see the bullet in there, which is of course part of the clip, which does pop out. It does, but I'm not going to pop it out right now because I can't get to it. But yeah, excellent detail. Also, let's stick with weapons before we get to hands. Here is the rocket launcher. Amazing, amazing piece. U.S. Army, some weathering on there. Scope does come out and open. You can see right through it. There's a piece of glass in there. Really nice detail. Also, this piece folds out, and you can simulate the loading of the rocket launcher. Can't quite make out the rockets in there, but they are there. Really beautiful detail. Then into the vest itself, which has a lot of the armament already attached. So you get the binoculars, the grenades. That is his knife, already sheathed. Shotgun shells, and along the back of it you get 2 throwing knives attached to the back. Very cool on that. And then quickly to go over the hands. You've got fisted hands that come packaged on the figure. Then you get this regular trigger hand. You get this upgraded trigger pulling hand. Really nice. Definitely holds the weapons a lot more realistically. A knife holding hand. Another hand for cradling underneath the rifle or shotgun. And then a gesturing hand that is splayed out. And of course you get extra wrist pegs in case you break them. And one other detail I forgot is his watch. You can see at the scale, looks really cool. Okay, size comparison time. Here he is next to the DX13 T800 Terminator from Terminator 2 and the Technor MMS 136 Terminator from Terminator 1. And as you can see, for height, he is a little taller than the original Terminator figure from Hot Toys. And he's actually a hair shorter than the DX13 in terms of height. So pretty close to in line with the rest of the Hot Toys figures. And here he is next to some other standard Hot Toys figures, the Tony Stark and Spider-Man, just to show you quite how big he is, which you don't really get from looking at other Terminator figures. He is 12.5 inches tall. So for that, pretty big figure. Kind of scales in at about like 6'2" or 3" in 1/6 scale. So he's definitely very big. Also, one thing I haven't mentioned, he's also very heavy, due to the rubber or PVC body that they included. Okay, so what I want to do here is just show you the face sculpt from a couple of different lighting perspectives. So from directly overhead, from the side, and from underneath. That way you get a better perspective of the actual sculpt of the figure. Also gives you a chance to like make out the extra details in there that are hard to see under certain types of lighting. Alright, so final thoughts on the Commando figure. I think it's a really awesome piece if you're a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger and specifically his role in Commando. There has been very little in terms of merchandise for this particular franchise, except for what came out initially in the 80s when it was released. I did have one of the jumbo 16-inch Arnold Schwarzenegger figures as a kid. I actually still do have that. Of course, it didn't survive with all of his gear, but I do still have the figure. As far as execution on the figure, they loaded it out. They gave it a brand new body. The only thing with the body, because it is this rubber or PVC type material, it makes it a little unarticulated. You know, from the lower waist down, you've got all your typical articulation because of the seamless body, which does look awesome. And it does kind of need to look awesome because you can pose them without the vest or with the vest. But without your standard joints, posing him and leaving him in a pose always runs the risk of maybe possibly splitting or cracking or wrinkling the rubber, especially in the elbow area. And it also limits the amount of articulation that you get in the figure, in the torso. There doesn't seem to be anything. So for that, it's kind of a hit and miss. The figure does look awesome, comes with a ton of great accessories, and has a very good likeness to Arnold Schwarzenegger as he appeared in the 1980 Commando film. So I would recommend this only to hardcore fans of Arnold or of that franchise. If not, of course, you'd pass. Again, this is not a brand new release. This has been out for a year or so. So he is still available on online shops like BBTS, and of course you can hunt him down on eBay. He has not risen up very much in value, but with this tremendous loadout and this newly developed body that looks pretty awesome on display, I would recommend it, but again, only for the hardcore fans. Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching.